Good morning, everybody. So today we're going to talk a little more. You just heard Madeline give some research on the short-term rental market. I'm going to talk about short-term rentals and hotels, and actually, do they really compete with each other? And we know from the pandemic, short-term rentals did really well, and that's the rising, that's the star. Airbnb, and of course for Expedia, it's its Vrbo unit, where hotels really struggled. Thankfully, hotels are doing a lot better now in terms of looking ahead and starting to fill up rooms. ADR is certainly improved. But they're really struggling with other issues, as many of us know, particularly the labor issues and fulfilling some of the guest services. So that leads me to our opening question to our panelists, which we have a combination here of experts on timeshare, on the hotel market, and in short-term rentals. So we're going to get a point of view from everybody. So we're going to start all the way over here. We're going to start with you, Chris. And the question is, do hotels and rentals directly compete, or is it a fallacy?
Yeah, good question. And just to introduce myself, I'm the Chief Commercial Officer at Hilton, been with Hilton, as I was just sharing, for pretty much my entire career. And from our perspective, we do see them as different businesses, obviously adjacent, very close, but different businesses. We focus very much on delivering friendly and reliable experiences which are surrounded in service and services, and ensuring the guest gets that service. And we see in our customer interactions that that's what they want. They want a hotel, whether it be the free breakfast at a Hampton Hotel, whether it be in our full service, having the ability to access spaces like this, restaurants and bars, or whether it be in luxury hotels, being able to access spa, concierge, other feature functionality and services. We see that as what customers are looking for when they choose, certainly our brands, and choosing hotels.
So your answer is they don't directly compete?
My answer is, they are slightly different, adjacent, of course, and serving an accommodation need, somewhere to stay. But again, our research shows, and your research kind of backs some of that up, different trip occasions, different types of travel that these different products are fulfilling.
Okay. Sam?
Yeah, I want us all just to get along, right? So it's definitely, it's complementary use cases, definitely not competitive. And one thing that has happened, though, with the pandemic is that people have seen that there's a lot more use cases where a vacation rental was the better fit for them, whether it was going somewhere that hotels didn't exist, whether it was staying with a big group of people, whether it was staying for a long period of time, which has been a big trend that we've seen. And so in doing so, that awareness of the vacation rental and short-term rental market has really grown, and I don't think it's going away. It's something that's really gotten into the ethos and just the awareness of the public and the traveling public. So I think we'll see more of that going forward.
Bird?
Yeah, so by way of introduction, I'm the president and CEO of Guesty, which is a software platform for short-term rental property managers of all shapes and sizes. So we're representing the short-term rental industry in this panel. And to Sam's point, indeed, I think we saw a lot of new customer personas emerge in the past year and a half. So a lot of people never thought of trying a short-term rental found out that it's the right fit for them because they have unvaccinated children traveling with them, or because they need a longer stay and they need to work from the space they're in, and so on and so forth. So I don't think that there is direct competition. I think there's just so many types of customers with different needs, and we need a variety of solutions to cater to all those needs and personas, and that's what we offer together.
Noah?
Hi, Noah Brodsky. I'm with Travel + Leisure Co. We own a number of brands, about 20 brands in the timeshare space under Wyndham Destinations, in the exchange and membership club space under RCI and Panorama, and of course the Travel + Leisure brands as well that you're familiar with. Timeshare certainly plays into that mix as well as a competitor. I would say that all three, hotels, timeshare, and vacation rentals, certainly compete on certain trip occasions, but all three are also growing supply in the marketplace. As we go into the next couple of years of travel renaissance and hopefully the largest number of travelers, domestic and international, ever in the history of this planet, we need all of the supply. And certainly one role that The short-term rentals play is that quick increase in supply in key markets. But hotels, you'll never replace the service levels, comfort, safety, and security, I think, of a hotel offering.
So you seem to be the only one here that admits, like, everyone competes. I mean, as a traveler, I have a certain set of nights that I'm staying at an accommodation. So I am choosing an accommodation one way or another. And I do want to talk a little more specifically about hotels, and about rentals as well, in terms of how can hotels compete a little more with that long-term stay. So for rentals, I'm looking maybe, groups. One of the things that Madeline discussed in her research is that 62% of those who stay in a short-term stay will say, I will predominantly choose this rental in a group situation. The other thing is if I'm looking at maybe 4 or more nights, and then of course we have these other trends, digital nomad, work from anywhere trend. Is that a missed opportunity for hotels? And I'd like to hear from some of you about that.
Yeah, I mean, in our set of brands, we have long stay brands, Homewood, Home2, and they saw exactly the same as short-term rentals saw during the pandemic. Their business was through the roof for those that wanted a dedicated kitchen and more space. And so we saw that trend. But I think groups is a big word. That's a lot of different types of business that fit into groups. There are groups like this that are attending conferences, and of course, they want the services that go with a hotel. And then there are families who are traveling who want more flexible accommodations. That's where our longer stay brands do play. But also, we're innovating to support that kind of travel. So just this year, if you have kids and you've ever traveled in a hotel and you've tried to book connecting rooms, I'm sure you've felt the anxiety and pain of not knowing if you're going to get it when you arrive. Therefore, we launched confirmed connecting rooms. So now at point of booking, you can guarantee that you will get a connecting room. Contactless arrival. We've launched now with our digital key, which is available in over 5,000 properties. You can now share your key. So each one of your family can have a digital key for the room. All of these things, in our view, are us doing what we've done for 100 years, which is listen to customers, understand the friction in their travel, understand their needs, and innovate to try and solve it so that they have a better experience.
I still think that for a family, short-term rentals are the obvious solution. It's not just a connecting door, it's the kitchen, it's the amenities, it's getting your kids rise early morning and you need to feed them. All those things are really more appropriate at an apartment or a home or a more spacious solution. And I think we'll continue to see families choose that over hotels in the long term, as well as the digital nomads, the work from anywhere, the life shoppers. That is also a big trend that emerged pre-pandemic, but really accelerated. So those would be specific personas that I see would prefer the short-term rental.
I think we're going to see hotels trying to do a little more in that kind of digital nomad, or trying to get that opportunity. I know, like Citizen M, for example, has a subscription, so you can stay at various hotels as you're traveling. Is that something that Hilton's looking at, and is that something? And then I'm going to go to you, Noah, because I know subscriptions is something in your heart.
We're certainly very, aware of what's going on in that space, and we're trying to see if it's a product that resonates with our customers, right? If there is some way of putting a product, we have Honors, our loyalty program, so that's really the core way we build longer relationships with our customers, offer them incremental reward, but also incremental experiences for joining the club. But subscription, it's something we're looking at. No conclusions yet. We heard the last panel kind of say, don't think it's for travel. I think you've got a different opinion. So it's all to be played for.
That's right. Well, we launched a subscription product in September. So we're really bullish on the subscription market. I respectfully disagree with the last panel. I think that there is enough demand within the travel space, both leisure and for non-leisure trips, to make that value proposition strong within travel. And I think that we'll see that as an emerging megatrend over the next couple of years with travel subscriptions, beyond just those niche markets that they talked about, but really in the broad consumer traveler, that there's a play for subscriptions there. I would say that a panel on media or a panel on music 15 years ago might have made the same argument that there was no market there, and would be equally wrong.
Okay.
I think actually small businesses, could be a great place for subscription model. And actually go back 10 or 15 years ago, I'm showing my age, we had a brand called Scandic in the Nordic region. And in that brand, we had, a buy 15, for the price of 10 business product. It was a completely owned estate. Therefore, you had control of the inventory. You could use vouchers. And it was very popular with small businesses because they had controlled costs, known upfront, manageable costs, and they really liked it. So I think there may be something there in the small business market.
What have we seen in the traveler behavior that's really different now? And how are we? Because in terms of this contactless travel, is this something that's like here to stay? And is it something that really has continued value? I mean, is there a point where, as a guest, I'm feeling like I'm not getting the communication I need, or I'm not getting the feedback I need, and I'm not getting the experience I'm looking for because there's too much of this? So, can you talk a little bit about how what is the consumer looking for right now in terms of a guest experience?
So, if I may. I think that the beauty is how to balance the two, right? Because definitely in today's market, customers are looking for contactless experience. They don't really want to meet and greet anyone. They want to have a secluded space. They want to have a digital experience. And there's also a lot of advantages around creating a digital personalized experience for your guests, which is an advantage. On the other hand, you don't want to take it too far. And definitely there are personas that prefer a hotel experience and want to get, pampered in a hotel room and have the amenities and the service level of a hotel. And I think that we'll see more digitization of the market on the one hand, but still trying to find ways to personalize the experience for the guests.
Sam, do you agree that people don't want to meet and greet?
I think it depends on the person, right? And especially now in COVID, I think there's a lot of reluctance to meet and greet. But I think that one of the great things that I've come to love about Airbnb is the 6 million plus hosts that we have that do a fantastic job of personalized hospitality. And that can be personalized hospitality that's just all over the messaging system about where do I go, what's the best way to get from the airport, can I get some local groceries, et cetera. And providing that personalized hospitality is one of the really magical parts about staying in an Airbnb that you don't see in the pictures. Mm-hmm. And it can be in person, but it can also be purely remote and digital. And it's always personalized and bespoke and wonderful. And it's only if the guest wants that. If the guest doesn't want that, they can have in and out, like I just want the sort of transactional stay, and have that as an Airbnb as well.
That's the key for us. It's choice and control for the customer. And we don't find that a customer wants no service or full service, even on the same stay, right? They may arrive late after a delayed flight. Therefore, they want to go straight to their room. They don't want to interact. They want efficiency in that interaction. But the following morning at breakfast, they do want to talk. They want service. They want engagement. They want hospitality. So as long as we can put the right choices in front of the customer, they'll choose what's right for them for that stay.
And I think one important point about that is staffing, right? We all know that there's a problem with shortage of staff. And short-term rentals were always very lean and reliant on technology, and this really helped us during the pandemic. I think hotels are trying to do the same thing. And for that reason alone, we'll see more digital services and more contactless stays going forward.
Yeah, well, I think that's a big challenge because as a guest, like you said, at a short-term rental, I have certain expectations of meeting or maybe not even meeting the host and then making my own experience. Whereas in a hotel, I have other expectations, like higher expectations in terms of room service or in terms of house cleaning or in terms of any kind of concierge service. And if I'm not getting that, now my perception is, I'm not getting the value that I'm paying for. Whereas with a short-term rental, I know what I'm getting, and as long as the place is clean and lives up to its description, everything should be okay. So, yeah, I think that's a bit more of a challenge for hotels right now. I'm not sure if all of them, of course, present company excluded, are doing a great job at communicating or maybe managing the expectations right now. Do you agree, Noah?
Yeah, I'd say that exists on both sides of any lodging, any restaurant, anywhere you go in the hospitality business right now is struggling with labor. Hopefully that's a a shorter term problem, you're absolutely right. Communication is the key to that, and making sure that guest knows. We offer contactless check-in now through all of our managed resorts, and it's getting to guests before they arrive so that they know they're going to be able to check in while they're in their car without going inside, which both solves our contactless problem, also allows us to reduce staffing when we're doing it out there at the check-in point. So it's hotels in this interim period managing that balance of communication and offering choice of service.
Yep.
We were talking about this earlier, is that setting expectations is really hard with the content, real-time content challenge. So with third-party booking, with the HotelTonight business that I run, we have a big challenge of getting live information about what's open, what the services are. Is there daily cleaning or is it every other day? And setting those expectations is important for people to know what they're paying for. But getting all of that information, we had trouble with this before COVID, when like a restaurant was not available for renovation, right? And just that was a challenge, even though it was every 6 months. Now you're talking about every week things change. It's a big challenge for the industry, and we should work together to fix it. I think another way to frame this competition is that the big competition we have is people staying at home and people not traveling. That's what we all need to work together to make them feel comfortable, to set their expectations, to provide them great hospitality, to get them traveling again. That's what's going to make all of our lives wonderful and the world a better place.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah, I mean, labor, there's no getting away from the challenges that it's providing across many industries right now, including hospitality. But what we found to this discussion exactly is very early on in the pandemic and through to now, having up-to-date, accurate information on exactly what services are available at every hotel, which we have on our websites, gives customers the comfort to choose and set their expectation. And if there's only one restaurant or the pool isn't open, as long as they know that before they book, then we find they are understanding, because they're living in the same environment we are. They know there's labor challenges, but it's making sure they know exactly what they're getting.
Yeah. And to your point, Sam, I mean, yes, the consumer is the winner, right? Because if we have all this inventory and all these different options and short-term and long-term and private homes versus, hotels or extended stay, they certainly are. But it seems like in terms of distribution, we still have more or less these silos of, Airbnb, which is still, mostly, by owner or managed rentals versus hotels, although there are some hotels. And then, of course, we have the hotel channel, which is more or less our hotel, whether or not it's a boutique hotel, a 4-star or 3-star. We still have these distribution is separate. I think Airbnb or Vrbo for a rental, right? I might think Expedia or Booking or Hilton.com or Marriott.com for a hotel. But if we're saying it's all accommodation, it's all lodging, it depends on your situation, what you're looking for, why haven't you seen more of a merger? Is this more of a technical issue, a cultural issue? And,
Well, it's something that we were very much working on pre-pandemic, and that's why the HotelTonight team was brought on to Airbnb, and I was leading that effort.
Right.
And we were making really amazing progress towards integrating the world's best boutique hotels into Airbnb. And the pandemic happened, we paused that, and we'll eventually get back to it. But for now, we do have hotels on Airbnb, and some of them are very, very successful. We welcome any hotel to join Airbnb. And we also have a very robust business in HotelTonight, which is continued on and doing incredibly well, and a great team over there making great progress.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So some more of that hotel content we'll see now on Airbnb?
Well, that was the plan.
Yeah.
Nothing to announce right now.
So it just took a hiatus.
Yeah.
It's not a technical issue or a cultural issue. It was just a pandemic issue.
Nothing more to announce yet. So.
Okay.
Well, we have a couple of our brands on Airbnb. We're a superhost, both on Airbnb and the similar in Vrbo, and have found that to be a great distribution channel right next to Expedia and Booking. I think that for our product in particular, and in particular the timeshare product, which has a kitchen and a laundry room and multiple rooms, it sells really well on Airbnb, and customers know exactly what they're going to expect and actually become great sales prospects for us as well in the timeshare channel. So I think we are starting to see that come together in timeshare space, which kind of is in the middle of the two, leading the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, first of all, we do see the lines blurring for our customers. For example, some of them own short-term rentals, but now they also own full buildings, and it's apart hotels, and what's really the difference. So we do see a more diverse portfolio of properties that needs to be managed through different channels. And the channels know it as well, and you can choose now when you go into most channels, are you looking for an apartment or a hotel room? Sometimes you don't care, sometimes you do. And I don't think that there's really a technology barrier. I think that we'll have more and more opportunities and variants of the properties that you can book on the different channels over time.
Right. And Chris?
Yeah, I mean, the distribution platform space, I don't need to tell this audience, it's hugely dynamic and changes constantly. And you know, what platform integrates which accommodations, I'm sure will change and develop. For us, we see it slightly, different. We're in the fulfillment business. We're in the ensuring that our brand experience is friendly and reliable, and customers feel hospitality. In order that, however the distribution landscape changes, we want customers to be seeking out our brands, whatever platform they're on or that we're on. That's our focus.
Who's come out stronger, though, since the pandemic? Would you say intermediaries or the direct brands?
Intermediaries or direct. We've seen in research our long stay brands did exceptionally well. The short-term rentals did exceptionally well. With the recovery, I mean, it's just phenomenal to see how quickly, when travel is deemed to be safe, demand returns. Leisure far exceeding 2019 levels in our leisure and resort destinations. Small business travel approaching 2019 levels. Group is obviously lagging and big business is lagging. But right now we feel really good, as per, I think, some early panelists about 2022 and how that's going to feel.
Yeah. Good.
Well, I think it depends on how you define intermediary or direct. For millions of our hosts, they have been enabled to become hosts and entrepreneurs by Airbnb, so they don't have a direct site. So does that make Airbnb direct or an intermediary?
That I don't know
either, right? But I'd say that certainly the awareness of Airbnb, the awareness of
do an OTA. That question comes up a lot.
Right, and I don't know what we are, but we're certainly, I think, a lot stronger coming out of the pandemic with more people seeing the different use cases, seeing the different benefits of the types of offerings we have, and our host community becoming even stronger.
I think what's clear to everyone is that many travelers that never tried Airbnb before or other short-term options have tried it for the first time and found out that it's really suitable for their needs. So we'll definitely, I feel that it has really become mainstream during the pandemic and definitely come out stronger following the pandemic. There is room for everyone, but I mean, looking at our numbers, for example, Thanksgiving is 300% over last year. Christmas is 460% over last year in terms of bookings. So definitely we see a lot of the continued surge of the travel industry, specifically in the short-term rentals. Yeah.
Did you want to comment? No? Intermediaries, brands? All good, right? Okay. I do have one question. I don't know if it's for everybody, but there's been a lot of discussion about, should hotels be selling, they've never really, compared to airlines, had a big ancillary business. Is there an opportunity now to sell, for housekeeping to be something like an upsell, or for food service to be something as an upsell?
Yeah, we see it, again, slightly different. We're on a journey to change what historically has been quite a simple choice set, standard room, superior room, suite, into a much more granular ability for customers to let us know exactly what it is they want and for us to provide that. We have the inventory, so do they want a high floor or a low floor or a bath or a shower? Do they want breakfast on one day and not the other? Do they want access to the pool? We're enabling, through the renovation of our technology, the ability to atomize our product and let customers buy exactly what it is that meets their needs. And their needs will change depending on their travel occasion, whether it be business or leisure. That's the kind of path we're on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're running out of time, so I'm just going to, ask this one final question. How different are each of your businesses going to look in 2022? So Noah?
Well, certainly with the launch of a subscription club, that's a large new segment that we're entering. But broadly, I think in our space, we're going to continue to play on some of the strengths of being in the branded hospitality space. Nobody wants a surprise on vacation, and to a family traveling, the choice of a larger accommodation like a timeshare unit can offer them the trust of a brand name, but also the space, kind of a best of both worlds approach, and I think you'll see us doubling down on that.
Okay, great. Barrett?
I think that we'll continue to power the short-term rental industry and help it become more professionalized. I think consolidation is bound to happen. We've acquired 2 companies already in the beginning of this year and plan to continue and do so in the following year, and continue our leadership in providing a really holistic solution around the short-term rental industry, which makes it more comparable to hotels in terms of the consistency and the professionalism you can expect.
And Sam, stay tuned. Is that the answer?
Well, I think the big change that we'll see, and that Airbnb's one of our historical strengths has been cross-border travel, and that's really been shut down with the pandemic. And as these corridors are open back up, we see an immediate surge in bookings when the UK, US opens up, for example. So as international travel opens up again, there's a lot of demand for it, both leisure to visit family members, and that's going to be the big difference.
You're going to fill that demand? You're going to be able to fill that demand?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Chris?
Well, I mean, holistically, the business will be the same. We're building on a 100-year legacy of hospitality, and we'll continue to do that with the customer at the heart. But you will see, because we have spent the time to renovate our technology, an accelerated pace of innovation.
Okay, great. Thank you. Chris, Sam, Barrett, Noah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.